What do you mean don't do this? Who does that? Can you find me one person who draws their boobs like that? Oh, using boxes only. Yo, TikTok is just messing with me at this point, huh? Who's responsible for this? Am I responsible for this? Did I build this For You page with boxes? What's up, guys? I thought we wouldn't have to do this again because this app was going to be banned, but it's back. It's like that one toxic ex that you just cannot get out of your life, but you know what that means. Join me today for another video where we lose our sanity together.
To draw a male torso, start by drawing 2 boxes. Make the top one wider than the bottom one, and draw in the center line. Mark out the halfway point of...
Oh! Boxes? But I just got here. Okay, you know what? I know she said boxes, but these don't really look like boxes, so let's give it a chance.
Draw in the opening of the rib cage and attach the neck to it. Draw in the clavicle, angling it slightly upward at the end. Then draw in the trapezius, which fans out from the back of the neck. Mark out the pectoral muscle shape, and then draw in the rib cage, making sure it's about a 90-degree angle. Then draw in the arms. I start out with the deltoid, which is on the top of the pec, and it has a slight diamond shape. Then I draw in the rest of the upper arm, implying the bicep and the triceps. I'll do the same thing on the other side before drawing in the pecs. The pecs are pulled from the side, so draw lines indicating that tension.
Oh.
After that, you can draw in the abs. Abs on men typically go straight down, unlike abs on a woman, which are usually hourglass shaped.
Oh.
Draw in form lines to divide the abs before adding in the serratus anterior and the obliques.
Wow.
Hope this helps, and thanks for watching.
Oh, wait a minute, this is kind of good. You had me in the first half, bro. I was about to throw hands. I feel like starting with box shapes is only viable if you already know your anatomy or you're trying to study perspectives. But regardless of that, this is a nice drawing. That's gonna get an 8 out of 10 from me.
Connor, the fuck are you doing? Coming, Lieutenant.
Do I have to keep going, guys? I'm gonna cry, bro.
Rendering Tut specifically face cuts. Sketch and base colors first. Establish the lighting. Make sure everything is blended together smoothly, except for when dark and light meet. Pick the complete opposite. Color of the shading when you are picking an outside light. Airbrush and smudge tool is key. They literally carry my coloring. Build your face structure. I recommend using face refs.
Yeah, the refs are good.
The eye bag things. I add to every drawing. I don't do anything special. For eyes, I just clean them up. After all that, I mess.
Give me a seizure at the end there, bro. I'd say honestly, this is overall pretty good. You can get a good skin render with this. You know, the only thing is, for things like the lighting that you see here on the side of the face, that's like the ambient light. You don't always pick the color that's opposite to the skin color for that color. Okay, the ambient light color depends on the character's environment. If he's standing in an environment where there's a red light off to the side, there's going to be red coloring on his face. Simple as that. So when you're thinking about the color on someone's skin, think about the lighting, think about the environment. Don't think about TikTok tutorials. But regardless of that, this is pretty good. This is going to get a 7 out of 10 from me. Minus 3 points for the flashing cameras that took like 3 years off my life. Or maybe I should give you plus 3 points for that. For ending this misery 3 years earlier. Oh my god, I found the red note artists on TikTok. Oh my god, save me. Save me. That poo? Alright, so you guys don't know Chinese. I'll try to explain what he's talking about.
5 hours later.
Alright, so what I've learned from this video is that your head is round. Wherever your hair is parted and originates, think about wrapping it around the spherical shape of your skull. And with longer strands, think of them like ribbons, like the surface of a ribbon. See, like this right here, if there's waves in the hair, think about the surfaces of that wave, the A surface and the B surface, okay? And that's how you get, boom, that's a 10 out of 10.
Hey, quick skin tutorial. I basically just lay down skin colors that I want to use. Yeah, that's basically all this part is. After this,
What the hell kind of explanation is that? That's like me trying to teach you how to draw an environment and then just telling you. I put down the colors of the environment that I want to use. Look, I'm just playing with you. I'm sure you know what you're doing.
After this, I use the dry brush from the painting section appropriate as my smudge brush. And I just go crazy. I use it on like the lowest setting, 2 to 4% probably, because if you go any higher than that, it gets really crazy and smudge is way too much. I also kind of layer colors over again and again until they get a sort of more 3D effect, so it's not so flat. So it's a lot of layering. But yeah, I did the same with the other side. You can add little skin details like I am here. And then I also use the same brush to smudge the freckles.
Wow, honestly looks amazing. And this kind of layering and smudging method is very reminiscent of oil painting. You know, you put down a new color, you layer it, you blend it. You put down another color, you layer it, you blend it. And see, what's really cool about this is even though this is done in Procreate, it looks like an oil painting because of that method. So if you guys are trying to get a more painterly looking kind of skin, this would be a cool method to try out. But I gotta, bro.
It gets really crazy and...
This is a crime. This is an attempted homicide on your iPad screen. I ain't never seen anybody press so hard on their screen, man. Maybe instead of 2 to 4%, you can increase that percentage a little bit and press a little bit lighter because you're going to kill that thing. 10 out of 10. How to draw poses for beginners. Okay, these poses look very promising. First, start with the head. You draw 2 lines for the rib cage and the collarbone. Now start with the simple shapes to build the body, okay? Try different shapes for the body. Just choose the one you want to learn. Don't try the first one. Now that you've chosen your shapes, try drawing the same pose I'm creating. So, what I like about this is that you're breaking it down into simple shapes and you're not focusing on details. Now let's talk about what I don't like about this. Now, I don't know how many of you guys have done gesture drawing, but there are a few lines that I've learned through gesture drawing that I think is super important to constructing poses. Number 1, you got to get the line of action, okay? The line that goes through your character's spine all the way through the body. This is going to show you the overall positioning of this pose. Line number 2 is the line through the shoulders. That line is going to show you the positioning of the upper torso. So you want to map these lines out first before you start trying to figure out the proportions and the shapes. Third line is the line through the hips, okay? You want to understand the positioning of your character's hip joints. Usually in very dynamic poses, you're going to see characters that have angled shoulders or hips. That's the gist of it. I like the fact that you're breaking it down, but we can break it down even further. We can get it even simpler before you start adding these shapes. 7 out of 10. Draw a pose from imagination with me. Torso edition. Oh, using boxes only. Yo, TikTok is just messing with me at this point, huh? Who's responsible for this? Am I responsible for this? Did I build this for you page with boxes?
I started analyzing my references before I start drawing and it has improved my art so much, and here's how you can do it. So in today's video, I'm going to focus more on invisible lines. Where I like to start with is usually a straight line that starts on the bottom of your foot that goes all the way up. Do you notice how the edge of this hair strand, the hand, the edge of the hip, and the shoe perfectly line up in one straight line? Just by placing these 4 elements accurately in this one straight line in your own drawing, you'll be able to nail down the proportions and the balance of your drawing pretty much perfectly. So this is just the start, and you can continue looking for these invisible lines in your references, which is basically just studying it. And this will genuinely help you so much and become more accurate and efficient when you are drawing poses.
This right here is Observation Fundamentals 101, okay? And this is something that you should be taught right at the beginning, right when you start drawing. And analyzing things in this way, by finding relationships between elements on your subject, is gonna work for drawing anything, okay? Not just poses, not just faces, not just living things. It could be for objects too. I love this tutorial because this is back to basics. This is the fundamentals. I highly recommend you guys actually try this out and put it into practice, because this is what's going to level up your observation skills. This is going to get a solid 12 out of 10 from me, man. Good job.
Here's what makes the Loomis method so genius, and it's this circle right here, because you can basically piece together your whole head just by using this circle as a guide. You have a designated place for your ear, right here in this quarter. You know the height for your eyebrows with this middle guideline. Your hairline is at the upper part of the circle, right here. And your nose is on the other part of the circle, at this exact height. And since they all have the same spacing, you also immediately know at which height your face ends, aka where your chin is located. And this works from every perspective.
This is pretty good, and it's true. You have 3 equal distances between your forehead, your nose, and your chin. Okay, so always remember that when you're trying to plan out a character's head. Someone said breathe, bro. 7 out of 10.
Guys, oh my gosh, I have cracked the code on how to color like this. Like this really nice type of no line art look. First up, you gotta use your sketch as your line art. One of the keys to this art style out, I think, is the messiness. So if you use your sketch and clean it up and use it as your line art, instantly it will have that cool messy-like factor that you want. Secret number 2 is the brush is so important because you want to make sure that you use it for the paintbrush and the eraser. And that is secret number 2, is you are going to use the eraser quite a lot. Really quick, you can see here how I clean up my sketch. It goes from like the really questionable sketch to kind of like a more refined looking line art. Secret number 3 is overlap. I especially like overlapping hair, so you can do like a little hair strand over here, make a little darker color, just like lightly outline it a little bit, and then boom, you have a nice overlapped piece of hair. You can just take the lighter color and then boom, thick to thin, a new hair strand. I do like using a brush that has like a nice taper just so you can achieve that like hair strand look. And then if I'm like, okay, his shirt collar looks a little bit bland, then I can just go in with a darker blue, kind of maybe outline it, shave it down, add some colors. Like, look, I'm just putting this anywhere. I'm just in random places. I don't know what's going on here, so I'm just gonna cover that up and then maybe put some a little bit here. And it just looks a little bit more detailed and messy and cool. You can add some chromatic aberration. Look at that. Add some nice details, some nice blue and red. And boom, super quick, super easy, messy sketch look.
One thing I would add to this is to also just not overthink it. If you're the type to already be doing like perfectionist line art and you're trying to break free from it, you're trying to do like messier line art, overthinking that process and overworking small areas is not gonna help. The way that you make a drawing that looks like this, for example, is by not overthinking the marks that you put down. Okay, so a lot of it is going to be up to your intuition. It's going to take a lot of moments of just seeing a mark that doesn't really make sense and being okay with it. That's what you got to practice to be able to draw like this. And in my opinion, one of the best ways to do that is to draw with a medium that doesn't give you the option of undo, that doesn't allow you to erase. So you can go and find yourself something like this, like a micron pen, a fine liner, and find yourself a piece of paper and learn to live with your mistakes, learn to live with the marks that you make, okay? And eventually you'll get to a point where you're just not overthinking it and your lines are gonna look naturally, beautifully messy like this.
Anatomy needs to be perfect and anatomically correct when you're doing character, is what posers say. Look at this. Look at that beautiful leg. Look at that movement.
Oh, wow.
Is it over exaggerated? Yes. Is it anatomically correct? No. Is it beautiful? Yes. Break rules, people. Learn the rules, then break them. This is from the manga artist Kei Urana, who is the author and illustrator of Gachiakuta.
Now, even though he says that this leg is not anatomically correct, it low-key is. Just by looking at the protrusion of the bone on the inside of the knee and that curve on the outside, as well as the more soft rounded shape on the outside of the calf versus the peak of that muscle on the inside of the calf, you can really tell this artist knows their anatomy, and the exaggeration is based on real anatomy. So yeah, by all means, you can break the rules, but the only way that you're gonna break the rules and make it look good is by knowing the rules in the first place. So like he said, we don't want to be that person that does not know anything about anatomy that just goes in and starts breaking the rules, okay? You don't know the rules. You can't break anything. Who? What do you mean don't do this? Who does that? Huh? Can you find me one person who draws their boobs like that? Well, there it is. Congratulations, guys. We made it through that one. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more art-related content. Check out my Patreon for monthly tutorials and cheat codes in art. Like this video if you like me, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye. Oh, boy. Ban this app.